back to Airplane from 1980s. We made it to the airport and we see the flight attendant, Elaine Dickinson, reporting for duty. We now see some of the passengers who will be attending the flight on this famous airplane. So before movies like Scary Movie and The Naked Gun, you had this movie which kind of led to it all. Now we now see this man calling the taxi and the driver comes running out and his name is Ted Stryker, who's looking for Elaine. A lot of jokes in this movie, but I'll play the ones that are worth showing, some I just can't. And now on the runway as the plane now crashes into the airport, and so Ted has made it to Elaine and she left him a note about breaking up and she doesn't like him. And the next scene we see one of the pilots, Captain Clarence Over, being called from the loudspeaker in the airport and goes to the white phone.
Captain Over, I have an emergency call for you on line 5 from a Mr. Ham.
All right, give me Ham on 5. Hold the mail.
And it's a doctor calling about a little girl about getting a heart transplant update. And here comes that little girl from the ambulance to the airplane. Meanwhile, Ted Stryker trying to get Elaine back, and here comes the Christian donation guy again. And Captain Clarence is inside the plane talking to the co-pilot, and here comes the third co-pilot.
Smoking or non-smoking?
Smoking, please.
Have a nice...
And his name is Roger Murdoch. You know, if you've seen the A-Team TV show. And Ted, desperate to find Elaine right away and gets a ticket to Chicago and grabs the ticket and remembers his war days as a pilot. And now we see these two passengers speaking English but in jive slang, and Ted has found Elaine. And the old lady comforting Ted and Elaine helping the child who needs the heart transplant. And now this goofy love scene. And the plane has taken off. And Ted is back and Elaine runs back to work, and Granny here now knows why he's upset. Now back to telling his life story of how he met Elaine, now a girl fight. Now the Bee Gees are playing inside Elaine dancing now, and Ted starts acting like he's in a Saturday Night Fever, and this happens for the next 5 minutes. And now switch it to slow dance song.
It's just that whenever I start to talk about Elaine, I always get so carried away. I lose all track of time.
And now Elaine taking these passengers' dinner order, and the kid wants to see the cockpit. And now the Jive guys order for their dinner, and now these kids acting with manners. With Elaine putting the menus away, she sees Ted sitting there, and now it's her time for memory lane of meeting Ted for the first time. And here they are running on the beach and kissing and back to reality. Now the airplane front where the pilot's still flying, and Elaine has brought the kid to the pilots. And Clarence gives the kid a toy plane. And Clarence asking the kid some weird questions.
Wait a minute, I know you. You're Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. You play basketball for the Los Angeles Lakers.
But he still exposes himself and grabs the kid's shirt to prove it further. And back with Ted and Elaine, and this is just so pathetic at this point. And she just cares more about the memories. And back to Ted having his memory again in the military hospital and some goofy scenes. And now the flight attendant handing out coffees and asking the nun for a guitar. And she starts playing the song using the guitar and everyone listens. And Elaine bringing coffee for the co-pilots, and back with Ted talking to another passenger, boring him now. Now another memory of Ted and Elaine, teaching these guys what they know, and back to Elaine having doubts about Ted.
Blame Elaine. She wanted a career.
And now the lady's having stomach problems and calls up Captain Clarence, recommends a doctor should be on a plane, and asking the kid, again, stupid questions. And Elaine locates a doctor here, Dr. Rummick, or Frank Drebin, years before he changed careers. And now checks on the woman. And Dr. Rummick here tells Elaine to tell the pilots to land the plane for the sake of the woman. And Captain Clarence is pulled outside as he speaks with Dr. Rummick, and Roger Murdoch messes the plane's handling and the kid wasn't lying. And now Rummick asking what Roger Murdoch had for lunch, and now back onto the plane is the guy who threw up the coffee. Had the fish too, and Elaine is back to tell Rummick that, and even Roger Murdoch and the navigator back there had the fish, and even Captain Clarence. And followed by another scene I can't show. And now Elaine turning on the automatic pilot, and this balloon pops out, and Elaine calls in Chicago Air Control. As Steve McCroskey answers the line and instructs everyone to do their jobs, and these two confuse, and this guy's recommending Mr. Rogers to land the plane safely, but McCroskey thinks of Rex Kramer. And now Elaine trying to fly the plane as the automatic pilot has been deflated, and she's asked to blow it back up. And that's weird. And Rummick is back to tell that he needs the patients to be at the hospital quickly, and if she knows anyone that can land the plane, but Ted always comes to mind, but she doesn't like him, and has to be someone who didn't have the fish for dinner, which is obviously Ted. And Elaine calling on the passengers to see if they're doing fine and needs someone that can land a plane, And now this airline worker goes to pick up Rex Kramer, a pilot from the past. And the airline worker gets attacked by the dog, and here comes Rex Kramer, already uniformed. Now the flight attendant is still looking for someone to land the plane, and she finally asks Ted, and so he gives it a shot. And Rummick wants him to land the plane since he's their only shot, and the taxi fare is still waiting. Wow. And now McCruskey answering phone calls everywhere else and waits for Kramer. Now Rex Kramer's driving to the airport and tells the airline worker that he knows Ted Stryker and he can land the plane. And now back on the plane, Ted is the only hope to land it, and Elaine doesn't want him to do it since Rummick here wants it to happen. And here comes Rex Kramer beating away all the religious guys in the airport. Here comes walking the navigator's office. And here he comes walking the navigator's office as he tells McCroskey that Ted Stryker can be trusted to land the plane. And Kramer gets on the line with Stryker, and he doesn't like his old captain is back. So he will help Ted to learn to fly a 4-engine plane. And the passenger wants to know what's going on, and Rummick is telling them. And Rummick is telling them everything now.
Calm. There's no reason to panic. Now, it is true that one of the crew members is ill. Slight.
The next scene, Stryker is talking to Kramer again about updates as Elaine is there repeating everything he tells him. And now the passenger here is now experiencing the fish effect as he speaks in jive. And the lady here helps the flight attendant translate that. And she just leaves. And McCroskey is back to tell the worker to call up Captain Clarence's wife to update her, and here comes the weather update. Next scene, we see Clarence's wife to be known of her husband's flight problem. Clarence over.
You can let yourself out the back door. There's juice in the refrigerator.
And Ted's still flying the plane while updating Kramer, and some other goofy scenes, and here comes the press for info on the plane, and the newspaper story for the plane is posted everywhere and broadcasted worldwide. And now another goofy scene, and Ted's still flying the plane, and some other goofy scenes. A lot of goofy scenes. And Rummick comforting the flight attendant since she's not married yet. And Ted's still flying with some memories of the war.
When Kramer hears about this, the shit's gonna hit the fan. Watch that oil temperature.
So Ted gives up and puts the balloon back. And back with Rummick telling Ted his old army memory in the medical corps, and that George Zip, a wounded soldier he treated, a name Ted has been mentioning many times now, giving him hope to land the plane, and it works. And even back talks Rex Kramer as everyone at the navigator's office are all back to work. Probably from a real movie. And at the control tower, as they all wait for Ted to land, and Clarence's wife has made it, and a lot of goofy scenes, which I can't show because no copyrights. And everyone on the plane ready to put on life jackets, and they are almost at the Chicago airport. And Elaine is proud of Ted again. And Kramer introducing Ted what exactly to do and how to land. And they just see the plane in the sky coming towards the runway, followed by more goofy scenes, and Ted has landed and just has to stop the plane now. And the wheels have been broken off, and Ted did it. And Ted gets a call back from Kramer to congratulate him, and the child with the heart transplant has made it inside the ambulance, and Kramer is still talking to himself. And Ted and Elaine live happily ever after. And that is Airplane from 1980. Nice movie, the beginner of which led to The Naked Gun and Scary Movie. First movie to introduce comedies like these. There is an Airplane 2, I'll watch it someday. Thanks for watching as always. Take care, see you soon, and watch away. And I'll see you guys in the next episode.
Well, I'll give him another 20 minutes. But that's it.